This is Han from Holy Sheets. Holy Sheets turbocharges your Google Sheets, ranging from boosting the speed to connecting your sheets to a plethora of cloud services and applications. Holy Sheets also provides advice and strategies for you to manage your sheets as part of the solution. In this video, I'd like to share a free Google Sheet template for inventory management with you. I'll show you the features in the sheets and how to customize it for your needs. Let's get to it. There are 3 visible tabs in the sheets. The catalog sheets tracks all the available items in your catalog. The location sheets tracks all the places where you could have items. And the cycle count log sheets tracks all the records of your cycle counts or inventory audits. The template also has a custom menu at the end of the menu bar with a few actions. These actions will trigger all the main features on the sheets. Now let's dive into the details of each tab and run through some use case scenarios. Let's start with the catalog sheets. This is the master catalog of all the items that could be in circulation in any of your locations. As you can see, the SKU and name columns both have a red asterisk suffix. This means the values for both the columns are required and can't be blank. The sheet itself also has another data validation rule that the values for SKU should be unique and cannot have duplicates. Now there are 2 ways to enter data into the sheets. One of them is to enter the data directly into the sheet cells directly. Another one is via the custom menu action of add an item. So entering data directly into sheets is fairly straightforward, but it does have some quirks. So we can say, let's run through some examples. Say, I want to start entering a SKU of a big box, and the name is big box. Ta-da! We have our big box in the catalog. It does have some rudimentary data validation features, such as catching duplicate values in the SKU column. So if we try to enter that again, it tells us that cannot be done, and the value essentially got erased. But it does not capture the blank value cases. So let's say we're going to have big box again, but no SKU. Apparently it's okay. It certainly doesn't capture this case. The opposite is certainly true, that if we have a SKU but no name, the value still persists. So in this case, it's actually better to use the menu item of add an item because it will enforce all the data validation rules that we have talked about. Let's give it a shot. Say add an item. You can see that all the fields are available. So if we start with a, say, blank SKU, basically everything blank, and we try to add to catalog, it will not work. And it tells you that essentially the SKU is blank and name is blank. So if we say, okay, now we're going to fill in the SKUs, but make it a duplicate, and name, let's call it big box 3. Let's see how that works. All right, the duplicate SKU validation is invoked. It does not work. So let's fix the SKU, but leave the name blank. Does it work? Nope. So now let's fix everything and give it a color and size. Does that work now? Yes. When valid data is entered through the add a new item menu action, the correct data will be then injected into Sheet directly. And that's how we add data. But you probably have noticed that we now have invalid catalog data that breaks our validation rules on the sheets. So this is not always enforceable if you're entering data directly into the sheet itself. But this is where the custom menu action of validate items come in. So when you click on this, the sheet will go ahead and go through each item in the catalog and validate the data integrity against our rules. And as you can see, it will label the bad data over here with the red with the notes on exactly what is going on. So there we go. Right. So now this gives our chance to fix our data. So let's say, well, this one has a blank skew. So let's fix that. Let's say mask face S, right? Say face mask of size small. This one has a blank everything, so that's not quite good. We can make it mask face medium. And this one has a blank skew. Great. It's another big box. We can call it box big 4. This one has name being blank, so let's call it big box 2. All right. So after you fix all the data, let's invoke the validation again. This time, hopefully, the red error notation should be removed. As you can see, they all are. And voila, all the data is now correct. Now let's take a look at the location sheets. This sheet tracks all the places where items can be held. Similar to the catalog sheets, the ID and name columns need to have non-blank values. Additionally, the location IDs should be unique throughout the sheets, and also the values under the parent column should either be blank or a valid ID that already exists. So what is this parent column, you might be asking? The parent column helps specify a location hierarchy to logically manage your locations. You can have a storage room with several storage closets inside, which may have storage shelves inside themselves. In this scenario, the storage room would be a parent of all these storage closets, and the appropriate storage closets will be the parents of specific storage shelves. And of course, this hierarchical setup is not required. You can certainly manage all the locations in a flat hierarchy with all the parents' column values being set to blank. And again, there are two ways to enter data. One is that you enter data directly into the sheets, or the other one is via the custom menu action of add location. Like I pointed out, the menu action is always fuller in terms of functionality and validation rules. So we can give that a shot. So let's say we want to have a location ID of everything null, nothing works. Similarly, we want to have maybe a duplicate ID. Let's call it shelf 4. Let's give it a name of another shelf 4. And ID already exists. Okay, let's call this shelf 5. Shelf 5 with the parents of nothing. This means that now the shelf 5 is going to be a top level location, which is apparently okay. What if now we have a invalid value for a parent? So let's say we have a shelf 6, And I remember the value for parent should either be blank or a valid location ID that already exists. So what if we enter something that's completely random? And it will say, well, the parent, there you go, it's validated. So here we go. Also, very similarly, we can see that this particular role does not really have a valid location data. This is where the validate locations manual action will come in to help. It's very similar to the catalog sheets. It will run through everything and tell us which one is bad. Here we go. ID is blank. All right. Let's call it Boo, and as a parent of storage room 1. Great. Now let's run through validations again. Aha! Now everything is correct. Now let's see how we can perform a cycle count or inventory count. We can start from the manual action of count inventory. The only required input is the name of the person performing the inventory check. A blank name is not acceptable. So we can start by typing in person and start the cycle count. Now you can see that a cycle count sheet's created with the name of the person performing the count and the current date and time recorded in the sheet. An entry of this cycle count is also added to our cycle count log sheet without the necessary parameters we just created. Great. Now, the cycle count is a very simple concept that we simply have a location, an item, and the quantity of the item at the location. Now, the valid values for each location cell is the name of the location, all the locations in the location sheet, regardless of what hierarchy each location is in. Similarly, each item cell can only take in valid inputs as the name of the available items from the catalog sheet. So we can say something like, let's say on the shampoo shelf, we have some face mask, let's say they're 500 of them. Great. What if we are trying to type in an invalid value here? Let's say lobby. It will not accept the value here. So we can say on the coffee shelf, let's say we have Pete coffee, not acceptable. But if we select the values from here and let's try to type in something that's not a numeric value. Let's say hello, and again, not accepted. 20. Okay, this is basically how we can work with the cycle count sheets. This concludes the demo of this inventory management template. If you'd like to use it, you can make a copy to your Google Drive from the File menu. If you'd like to have some new features built or customized for your needs, feel free to reach out and start a conversation. You can always find Holy Sheets in all our templates via the custom menu action of About Holy Sheets. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.